Hi you guys, and welcome back to the Mama Monologues.
So today, in honor of Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day, Karissa and I are going to be sharing our stories with you and also some tips on how we coped and got through such a devastating time.
So, Rhea and I both knew that when our kids were about the age of 2, we wanted to have another baby. That had kind of always been both of our plans. So, around April, we kind of started trying, and in May, I found out I was pregnant, and it was exciting, and I was shocked, and it was just so exciting. We told our family, and it was just the best.
Rhea a big sister shirt.
The whole ordeal. And then, that was in May. Did I say that? Anyway, that was in May. Then, I think it was just a week after I found I was pregnant. My husband and I and Brielle and his family were at the coast to go to a wedding. And I woke up in the morning and I had started bleeding. Anyways, we went to the emergency room and I lost the baby, and it was devastating, and I was in shock. I didn't expect that to happen. And but anyways, we knew we wanted to try again right away. You know, miscarriages happen all the time, and so I waited for one cycle, and then I started trying right away.
So, like she said, we started trying around April. When Karissa miscarried, it was so hard for me. I was very, like, in a really weird position of really wanting to get pregnant, but also because she had just lost a baby, I didn't want to get pregnant. So it was kind of nice because I was kind of like in a little not really caring anymore mode. She miscarried June, was it May 31st? May 31st. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up finding out that I was pregnant on July 7th. I was so nervous to tell Karissa because she hadn't like even got any cycles back or anything. Yeah. And so I told them, like, oh, I'm just gonna wait like 2 days until she gets it. Well, that morning, the day that I found out I was pregnant, she started her cycle, and so I was like, okay, I can tell her. So I told Karissa, you know, obviously she's a good friend, so she was really excited and selfless about it. And we got really into my pregnancy. And, well, okay,
yeah,
let me go back to you.
Back to me. So then I started trying right after that first cycle, and I got pregnant right away. And so that was the day, my birthday. Oh yeah. I found out I was pregnant on my birthday. So August 8th, but I took a pregnancy test and it was really light, but it was positive. So I was like, oh my gosh, I thought that was our rainbow baby. I was so excited. And the test never got really dark within the next couple of days. And then I think like 4 or 5 days after that pregnancy test, I woke up and bled again. I mean, I knew at that point what it was. I had miscarried again, and I was just so confused and lost and depressed and everything bad you can imagine.
Yeah. So now I'm almost 10 weeks pregnant, doing great. I had an appointment even before she found out she was pregnant at 6.5 weeks. We heard the baby's heartbeat. It was 115 beats per minute. Baby looked great. Everything was going smoothly. I had no signs of anything being wrong. And so I was almost 10 weeks, and she had just miscarried. Oh, the week before my appointment. And so I went in for my doctor's appointment, and by now I wasn't nervous at all because the risk of miscarrying after you hear a good strong heartbeat is like 3 or 4% in the 9th and 10th week. It's like very, very slim. So this is my second go around. I'm like, you know, I have this all under control. So I didn't even bring Andrew to my appointment. It was the first appointment that he had missed, but I've done this before. I knew that everything was fine. So I brought my mom with me, and we went into the room, and I'm not thinking anything. I'm just you know, telling her like, oh, I can't wait to see, you know, I wonder if they'll be able to like kind of see, you know, whatever. So we went in there and she starts doing the ultrasound, and the baby's so cute. It's big now. It's, you know, it has its little nubby arms and nubby legs, and it's, and I remember just saying like, oh my gosh, it looks just like Drew did. And no one, my doctor wasn't saying anything. And I go, that's weird. And then she goes, Rhea, and I felt her grab my leg, and I knew right then, because then I go, oh no, why isn't it moving? And she said, there's no heartbeat. And oh my gosh, I go into more of a shock. So, you know, and my mom is like a very strong, I'm strong-willed, and she's, you know, are you sure? Are you sure? Check again. And the doctor felt horrible. She like was almost in tears, and it was just awful and uncomfortable, and just like it felt so much like a dream. It was horrible. Yeah. And so I ended up, the baby had stopped growing, like the baby's heart had stopped beating like hours before the ultrasound, because it was measuring perfectly. And they scheduled the D&C, but seriously, only by God's grace was I able to pass the baby all on my own, and it all worked out. It was just a really difficult, weird, confusing time for both of us. Neither one of us were expecting it to happen, let alone a week apart from each other. Karissa and I had each other, which was really good, and we also had completely different ways of coping. We had a lot of similar ways, but we also had completely different ways, which I think helped a lot too, because I'm not a crier at all. I don't cry about things. I'm a stuffer. I just stuff them. I just kind of don't dwell on them, and I act like they're not there, and that's my way of dealing with them. So it was nice to have Karissa, who she actually deals with her problems, and you know, she actually, when I saw her, the way that she was grieving, it kind of helped me to feel comfortable crying. You know, I didn't feel like I was like weak and like I was the only person who dealt with things that way. So I think that that helped me a lot. Just knowing that it was okay to cry, obviously, and that it was okay not to be okay. I think that's one thing to remember, because I was so not okay, I felt pressure to be okay. It was the second miscarriage in the matter of just a couple months, and I just felt like life would never be normal again. Like I would never have I mean, of course, when you're in that situation, your mind, at least mine, goes to extremes, and I just felt like life was never going to be okay again. But looking back, it's obviously it is okay, and I mean, within that week I felt more and more like myself. But if that were to happen again, God forbid, I think that's one thing that I would immediately tell myself. Yes, the world sucks right now. Everything is horrible, and that's okay, but it will get better. And I think once you realize, within the next week, month, year, you will feel more and more like yourself. It will get less and less painful. Then take that knowledge and comfort, and then just fall apart for a minute. It's okay to cry for a few days, to not want to do things. But once you're done, start picking up the pieces, start getting back on track, and get back to your normal routine and people and activities when you're ready, because that will make the biggest difference in life seeming to come back together. Because whether you're pregnant for a day or, you know, a couple months or 8 months, losing a baby is really, really difficult. Yeah, and I think what people don't realize, and it's something that I never realized, is that, you know, being a mom, being pregnant, it doesn't start when you feel the baby move. It doesn't start when you hold the baby in your arms. When you're actually trying to have a baby, when you see those 2 pink lines, you're already in love with this tiny person. Like you're already creating up nurseries and thinking of what they're gonna do, and is it gonna be a boy or a girl, and you know, you're just already start thinking, and you're excited to tell people. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't understand unless you've if you've been through it and you've had to try to get pregnant and all of those things. So yeah, I think that understanding that people don't understand if they've never been there. And I remember somebody told me, or maybe they told me about you, like saying that, yeah, I think it was about you. They said, oh, I heard Karissa lost another pregnancy. And it just made me so irate, and like it infuriated me, because no, she didn't lose a pregnancy. What does it mean to lose a pregnancy? I don't know. She lost a baby. She lost a child. She lost a little tiny human that she had hopes and dreams for, and was already preparing for. And, you know, she lost Brielle's little brother, sister, you know, 2 of them. And so I think knowing that people who have never been there, just they won't get it. And maybe they'll say things like that just drive you crazy, but it's not their fault, because unfortunately it's something that's not taken very seriously by a lot of people, because it's not understood enough.
Right. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is making sure that you're aware of how your husband is doing. I think when a woman loses a baby, it becomes a lot about the woman who lost the baby, when it's equally, I mean, that was, you know, the father's baby also. And I think that was one of the hardest things, is because Jake had to be so strong, because I was on the couch sobbing hysterically and like saying I was never going to have another baby again and saying all these dramatic things. But you have to let your husband mourn too, and you have to be there for your husband. And I think that made me feel better, is because I had to toughen up and be strong and, you know, say, how are you feeling, and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And I think just rely on each other, you know. Yeah, it's really hard to lose a baby.
Yeah, both
and
sides.
For both sides. Try your best to be as supportive and comforting, even though you might feel weak. You know, try to be strong for your husband or boyfriend or whatever.
Yes. We're going to tell you 3 reasons that we are not thankful that we miscarried, but the way that our miscarriages have actually benefited our outlook on life and our relationship with our children. My first would be, obviously, that it's taught me to love stronger. You know, nothing is guaranteed, and especially with pregnancy, we go into it thinking, oh, I'm gonna get pregnant my first try, I'm gonna carry the baby to 40 weeks, my baby's gonna have 10 fingers and 10 toes, and I think with this, it just taught me, you know, just to be thankful for a healthy baby, to be thankful that I have a healthy baby, that I have Drew, and just not to put so much pressure on things like gender and looks and, you know, just things that just don't mean anything at the end of the day. My second thing would be that it taught me to be more kind to myself and more lenient with myself. Again, like I said, I put a lot of pressure on myself to appear a certain way and to hold myself up and to act really strong and tough. And it taught me, you know, that it's okay not to be this perfect, put together person. And I'm thankful that that happened, because I don't know if I would have had a similar experience that taught me that. And my third reason would just be strengthening my relationship with God. That, you know, not that I look forward to dying, because I don't. I'm still terrified of it. But knowing that my little baby who had a strong beating heart, its baby heart stopped beating, and that he or she is in heaven, just makes me feel so comforted that if my little baby can do it, like, so can I. And when I open my eyes, I know that, you know, the baby will be waiting there for me. So that's just very comforting, and that strengthens my relationship with God and my faith in Him and my faith in His plan for my life.
My first reason, I think, is that I'm so, like I said before, I'm so thankful for this extra time I have with just being a family of 3. My husband's the teacher, and so if I get pregnant when we, you know, when we are kind of planning to start trying again, it won't make me have a baby until after he goes back to school. And so I get a whole nother summer of just having Jake and Brielle, which is such a blessing. I love summer, and when you find out you're pregnant with your second one, it's so exciting, but then it's terrifying because it's like, Brielle's my baby, and you can't imagine loving anybody else like your child, you know, the child you already have. And so I'm just thankful for the time of, you know, I have no other choice. I have to take advantage of this time with just having her. My second reason is just I'm learning, I haven't learned completely, but I'm learning how to let my plans and my ideas of how my life needs, not even supposed to. I feel like my life needs to look like this. Like I said before, you know, we even had one kid, I knew when I wanted to have all of our other kids. And I get so consumed with, you know, this is how it needs to be, this is how I've always wanted it. And so when things don't go the way I have it planned out in my head, I turn into a 18-month-old. I throw it, you know, I don't like not having things go my way, which is horrible. But I'm learning to let that go. When I realized that there was no way for my 2-year plan to work out anymore, I almost felt a sense of relief because it took that pressure off of me that I put on myself. Nobody else cares when our second baby is born, but to have a kid 2 years apart, it doesn't matter. It's so dumb. But I'm learning that, you know, when I release those ideas, I feel so much better. The third way this experience has bettered me is just like Rhea, learning to grow closer to God. I have a bad habit of when life is going good and things are going the way that I have them planned out in my head, I tend to distance myself from Him, which is horrible. But, you know, I get caught up in being happy and all this stuff. But whenever something like that happens, I always feel thankful because I never have felt closer to God than when I'm going through an experience like that. So it's just learning to literally cast all of your anxieties onto Him and to not take them back. That's another thing I struggle with. And every time I go through something like this, it teaches me more and more that I don't have anything to be anxious about. He has everything taken care of. That day that I lost that second baby, I cannot stress enough what in a dark place I was. It wasn't that I didn't want to be alive, but I didn't want to go on with life. I couldn't imagine picking myself up. I was so devastated. But it's now, that's just a memory, and I've been able to pick up the pieces. I'm in an extremely content, happy place in my life right now. I couldn't be more, you know, thankful, and it's just such a testament to the fact that I wasn't able to do that alone. That was like purely because of God and my friends and family who like encouraged me along the way. But I think that's just such a strong testament to cling close to God, cling close to the people who you are closest to, and that's what I am so thankful that all has taught me.
If there's anything we can tell you, it's that it will get better.
Yes.
And if you need to talk to anyone, we are here, we're available, just let us know. So anyways, thank you so much for watching.
Hey guys, if you feel like somebody could have benefit from this video, if you haven't dealt with a miscarriage yourself, but you know someone who has, share this video with them. Hopefully, you know, we will be able to make them feel less alone and less crazy. And we will see you guys next time. Bye.